Hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, I'm still alive. Hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, I'm still alive. Yeah, 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 yeah. Eddie Vedder. Anyways, as you can tell, since my last video, I'm still alive. Not only am I happy to say I'm still alive, I'm flying high after an intense bike ride and some quality shut eye. So, Mike B here to entertain you with the help of Eddie Vedder and Dean Snider and Twisted Sister. I'm not gonna take it. No, I ain't gonna take it. I'm not gonna take it anymore. That's the best I can do with this piece of crap, but I'm not gonna take it. No, I ain't gonna take it. I'm not gonna. Anyway, this is going to be a short one. I wanted to do a film reflection, Mike P's film reflection, on the movie I finally got the chance to check out called Ready Player One, based on a book by Ernest Cline. Ernest Cline and Zach Penn worked on the screenplay. The ones that start out as novels actually make the better movies. I've been wanting to check this one out for a while. I'm not a gamer myself, but I know people who are, and they assured me that you don't have to be a gamer to appreciate the film. And after viewing it, I would agree with that statement completely. Anyways, Ready Player One, director. When I learned that Spielberg was the director, then I was like, oh, okay, well, this might be worth checking out here. But incidentally, that song, We're Not Gonna Take It, is used in the battle scene in the film, which prompted me to pick up this crappy thing and work out some of the lead. Anywho, I did find mild humor in the fact that the quote Sixers. By the way, spoilers are in order. Although I don't think I'm going to be giving away anything crucial really, but just in case, there are those that rather go into a story or movie completely blind, which is fine. Actually, can relate sometimes, but. No, I found mild humor in the fact that the Sixers in the story, the ones whom were more content working the game for the powers that be benefit versus being self-made, I found mild humor in the fact that they couldn't handle the shining diversion. You'll have to see the film. When I say The Shining, I'm referring to the film, the Stephen King film. Stanley Kubert or Cuban. Anyways, he did the movie, but it was the novel by Stephen King, The Shining. Anyways, I found it humorous that the Sixers in the stories, the corporate droids couldn't handle the shining diversion within the game, or called the Oasis in the film. The game is called the Oasis. That made me laugh. The corporate droids just couldn't deal. Early on, while I was watching the film, I didn't catch on quick enough. I thought they were called the Sixers because the company sent them into the game 6 at a time. But I thought, that's a very football game mentality. But that was just in my head, because a little later on in the film, I figured out, oh no, that's just the serial number. All the serial numbers of these employees of this number 2 company in this fictional world of Ready Player One. The serial numbers start with 6, so that's why they call them the Sixers. But I think some of them, the company kind of had by the financial cojones, which kind of is like college in real life in the modern world today. a system of forced loyalty through financial incarceration. Well, I come to think of it, an episode of Sliders comes to mind too. The Christmas episode, if I recall. Anyways, yeah, I can't help but look at that. Yeah, like real life, and the college system that's in our world right now, in the modern world. I can't help it. This stuff starts up here and eventually makes its way out here. uh, but the system only granted me Pell Grants when I was going to college, which is basically chomp change to $1 zillion industry. Kind of like reminds me of Alex P. Keaton, the fictional character Alex P. Keaton, when he talks about PBS budget meetings. Inquires his dad works for PBS, and those PBS budget meetings. What happens there? Do you throw loose change on the floor, and all the different departments dive bomb, clamber on the floor to grab up what they can? Which reminded me of a personal memory when I worked at a car wash years ago and was making less than minimum wage and barely making enough to make ends meet. And I would always make it a point to be the guy who took out the garbage with the vacuum, emptied the vacuum cleaner, because I know there was going to be another guaranteed at least $10 in quarters. I would admit the 80s nostalgia in the movie definitely was entertaining. I especially like I found the clues on the fact that the clues were on the scrolls. I thought that was kind of cool, and also calling it Zemeckis, the Rubik's cube, Zemeckis cube, because this world takes place, like in the future. But anyways, I also thought it was interesting that the businessman, the main villain, I guess, the businessman at the number two company, the one was number two to the Oasis, this game. This guy was walked around with a take no prisoners killer mindset, definitely very 80s like in itself. His mindset is all about more money, expansion versus intellectual investment. I found that to be unfortunately true to real life when it comes to this consumer society that we live in. This is mainly in reference to when the kid, using his mind to go against the norm, finds the first key, first of three keys. That was interesting to me. But as someone who is looking forward to seeing the new Bill and Ted movie, Bill and Ted Face the Music, hopefully this fall, I thought it was cool when the creator of the game, the creator of the Oasis, is talking about if we can go backwards really, really fast. And he says, Bill and Ted did it. And as soon as I heard that, I thought he's got to be referring to the time traveling that they talked about, and obviously did, just very quickly, while eluding Ted's dad in the police precinct towards the end of Excellent Adventure. I also found it interesting that the creator of the Oasis in this film is the one who put a limit on ads. He's was something that the number two corporation did not like at all. But made me think again of its relationship to real life in tech limits. I mean, human beings like to marvel at tech things, all things tech. But all tech is pointless in absence of reliable and unlimited power source. Tech life. It's all fun and games until it comes time to recharge the battery. The battle scene made me smile and think of my own childhood fantasies of escapism from the intellectual imprisonment, what childhood was for me. Um, and I would admit the physical images of a lot of the characters in my own fantasies as a child um, may have had its origins in the movies I saw as a child, but their talents, skills, their talents and skills were not limited to the rules of those films. The world was my own. RoboCop, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I remember having fantasies of living in a junkyard. Probably was All Dogs Go to Heaven's influence. But it was kind of cool though, watching all those different characters fight, and what essentially they were fighting. Essentially, what was corporate droids with little imagination outside the loyalty box that the 101, that was the name of the number 2 company, the loyalty box that the 101 company had them encased in. Make sure your subjects are obedient. Not to give really anything important away, but the film might have some sort of spiritual reference to the creator of all. Might. That might be in my head, but might. Well, anyways, that's my film reflection, Mike P's film reflection on the film Ready Player One, directed by Steven Spielberg. With all the different references, I noticed that the DMC is missing, or was missing, from the DeLorean in the film. It's in some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, but the DMC is absent from the grill of the DeLorean in the film. So probably was a money saver at the end of the day. Instead, what they did is they basically put the red back and forth line from Kit in the grill. To give you something to look at, I guess. But the DMC was missing. Like I said, I don't know this for sure, but I think probably for financial, practical reasons. But the fact that they had Spielberg, doing this thing, it was probably Spielberg's financial backing that let them do a lot of the character references to all these different freaking movies and stuff. I thought it was curious Iron Giant was in there because I always thought Iron Giant was from the 90s. I thought that came out in the 90s. Oh, whatever. Not all the nostalgia in the film is from the 80s. Some of it's from the late 70s. Certainly, I think The Shining was actually from the late 70s. But I think there was some few 90s nostalgia in there too. But primarily 80s, though. Definitely 80s with the music. All right, well, that's my Mike P's film reflection for Ready Player One. I'm just going to end this one with a little joke that I've heard about recently. So, the doctor says that I have split personality and gave me a bill for $88. I paid him $44 and said, get the other half from the other guy when you find him. And good luck. Thank you for watching.